What's going on, y'all? This is the Heroes Playbook, and I'm your host, Rashonda Schaeffer, better known as Ro. This is our first episode, and in this first episode, I just want to give a background and an introduction about myself and give a background about the platform and the foundation and what we're going to be all about. So, I was a 5 year Navy veteran. I separated last year in November of 2024. I served from November of 2019 through November of 2024. I was a hospital corpsman. I served both stateside and overseas. I joined straight out of high school. I'm gonna give you all the background, all about that, and what my experience in the journey was. But I created this platform and this channel because I wanted to educate veterans and active duty on all the programs, all the benefits that we qualify for, the resources that we have, and how to successfully navigate them. Right, depending on national level and state level, there are so many things that we qualify for. Whether that is different financial programs, different education benefits, reduced property taxes, different state benefits. There are so many things that you earn. And there are a lot of programs that are very well known, right? Like the GI Bill, VA benefits. Those are some people still have a lot of questions about navigating them, right? They are still deep topics with a lot of different intricacies within the topics, right? But for the most part, those are well known programs. But there are so many other ones. There's business loans that veterans qualify for, debt reduction programs. And so I wanted to bring a no nonsense approach to it, a step by step guide on how to maximize your opportunities while you're active duty, whether that's getting certifications that the your branch of choice or the branch that you're in will cover, how to maximize certain benefits while you're in and once you get out, how to have a successful transition, and just overall, taking kind of your future by the horns. Like there's things that you and your family members qualify for and that you earned, right? You put on that uniform, you serve, honorably, and you've earned these things. And I want, people to take full advantage of those things that they earned during their active duty time. And a lot of people either don't know about certain programs, don't know how to navigate them, or they just kind of let them go by the wayside, right? Like kind of analysis paralysis, like, yeah, I'll kind of get to it later. And then they never really, they don't take action on these programs. And they don't know about certain resources, and there's a lot of things and a lot of value within them that I just want to bring to the forefront. And so I want to bring a lot of value and a lot of information to people in that community because I come from that community. And so I'll give you about the background about how I even joined the Navy. Funny enough, I joined straight out of high school. I had no aspirations of even going to the military. I played basketball pretty much my whole life, was a good academic student, and I had no aspirations of joining the military. When I was in high school, I actually took a dual credit English class, and that enrolls you at your local community college as well as the high school that you attend. So you get credit for both. So I was earning some college credit while I was in high school, right? Knocking out some of those general education courses, and then getting some high school credit for it and knocking them out. So when I get to college, I don't necessarily have to retake those non-major specific courses, right? And so when you do this, a lot of recruiters like to kind of pull from the community college list because you can find some eligible candidates, still young, can pass the ASVAB for different reasons. It's a good place for them to start looking. And so my recruiter at the time, Petty Officer Garza and Petty Officer Minus, I want to say Minus is the chief now. Shout out to them if they're out there watching this. But they hit me up and they were like, "Hey, we got your name off the community college list. You want to get some information about joining the world's greatest navy?" And at the time, I'm thinking this is like a prank. Like they sent me a text message while I was still in class, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Like I said, I had no aspirations of joining the military. I'm a few months away from my senior year graduating. Had no thoughts of even joining the military, right? So I'm like, "All right, yeah, okay." So long story short, they show up to my lunch hour when I'm in high school, my lunch period, and I'm just talking to them. They seem pretty cool. They're like, come down to the Bear Creek recruiting station. We want to give you some information. You got all the qualifications. Come on, join the Navy. Let's make this decision. So long story short, I go down there with a friend and I go to the recruiting station because I live like right around the corner. So I'm like, whatever, right? It's a shot in the dark. I'll go up there. They seem pretty cool. They said they showed me some cool stuff and get some more information. But at this point, I'm not even close to being sold about the military. Like I said, I had even enrolled in college. I had chosen my school. I was already accepted. I had like chosen my dorms, like who I was gonna room with. I am not sold on college at all at this point, right? And so I go down there to meet them. They're showing me their C book, and any of y'all who are Navy, the C book, or if you're not Navy, you are in a different branch or haven't joined or whatever. The C book is like it's just pretty much a bunch of pictures about your deployment, showing kind of the highlights of what you and your crew did, and it's some cool pictures, right? So I was like, okay, that seemed cool. They showed me that, and so I'm like, I had to hit them with the, well, it's cool talking to y'all. Like y'all seem cool, but I plan on going, straight to college after high school. I don't have any aspirations of joining the military. Like I already know what school I'm about to go to. I got my dorm chosen out and everything. Like I'm set. I'm ready to go. Right. And they're like, "Oh, you know what? You want to go to college? Wait, you can serve in the Navy and go to college. Yeah, reserves. We got you. Reserves. You go to boot camp. You do your however long your A school is to do your rate, which is your job in the Navy. And then once you graduate, you can enroll in the next semester. You can start school, and you get a GI Bill. And so at that time, this is really piquing my interest because, little did they know, yes, I had aspirations of going to college. And I did have some scholarship money to go to school, but I wanted to go to a big public university. And if you know anything about big public universities, they are expensive. They tend to incur a lot of costs. And then you also got to factor that you still got to live, you got to eat, and all these other things, right? And so I didn't, even at the young age of like 18, 17 years old, going into debt for college really didn't appeal to me, right? Like I wanted a higher education, I wanted to get away from home, I wanted to get those college experience, but going into debt was not a sexy idea for me even at that young age. Like I always kind of rejected that. Like, how could I approach this, without going thousands of dollars into debt to get a college degree? And so when they said that to me, it really piqued my interest because I'm like, okay, all right, for sure. I don't gotta go into debt. All right, let me go do some research on this. So if you know me personally, like once you tell me something, I like to be well educated on the facets of like whatever I'm getting myself into. And I'm like that with anything, right? Like if I'm gonna be doing this, I wanna know everything about it. And so I just started going down the rabbit hole. I started researching. And I'm like, okay, all right, what is being a reservist? What benefits do you get from, being in the military? And then, that quickly turned into, all right, that conversation, that internal conversation I was having with myself and the research that I was doing, it quickly changed to, all right, how do I reap the most benefits of this situation if I do decide that this is something I want to do? If I want to be a reservist, do I want to go active duty? How can I turn this situation into something that would be good for me? If I do decide that this is the path I want to go down, like I don't want to go straight to college and I'm going to join the military. How could this be advantageous for me going to this situation? Like, what does this have to offer? And so I really dug deep on the benefits, what the VA home loan was, what a GI Bill was, how many active duty days I had to accumulate to get that. And after going down the rabbit hole for probably like a month, I decided that I was going to join the Navy. I was still leaning heavily towards being a reservist, but then active duty started to appeal more to me as I dove deeper into the benefits and how you actually, accumulate a lot of the benefits. For example, for the GI Bill, you have to serve 180 days of active duty that aren't boot camp time or like an A school time. And so I did research on that, and I'm like, okay, well, as a reservist, I'm only drilling a certain amount of days per month. I got 2 weeks of active duty per year. It would take me a longer time to get the full entitlement. Because how the GI Bill works, yes, you would qualify for a GI Bill as a reservist, but you got to accumulate those active duty days to get 100% entitlement, which is that full 36 months. So I would have accumulated some time, right? But it would have took me a while to work up to that 36 months with, you doing the math. I'm only going 2 active duty days a week, which the hours kind of a little different when it's a reservist. And then the 2 weeks of duty that you have to serve a year. And so I was kind of like, all right, they'll take me longer, considering that. And then what other benefits do I have? Like I'm going to obviously get that exposure to the world. I'm going to get to travel if I go active duty. And so active duty started to seem like the winning bet. But that was largely based off like the research that I had done about benefits and what I thought, would be advantageous with the situation. And so, like leading up to this time, I had kept meeting people all while I'm doing this research. I kept meeting people that were like telling me good things about the military. Like they had no idea that I was talking to a recruiter. I was just organically meeting people that were like, I was in the army or I was in the Navy. And like even my dentist at the time, like the day I was gonna go meet the recruiter, my dentist was like, "Oh yeah, I was in the Navy. Like they paid for my school. This is some things I did. These were some of the benefits. These were some of the perks." I'm like, "Oh wow, like that's dope. Like because you were in the Navy, they pay for your dental school. You're out here doing your thing. Now you're not in the military anymore, right? But it paid for it. You didn't go in debt. You got a high income skill, and now you got your own, dentist practice. That's dope. And so the wheels started to turn in my mind. But a lot of this conversation that happened internally about the military was, how could I reap the most benefits from it? How to navigate it and have a successful career, whether I did 5 or 20 years, and what would make me successful post transition? Because that's the thing, right? You're not always going to be in uniform, at some point, whether you serve 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or you retire, you're going to become a veteran. And it is very important that you know what tools you have for transition, what benefits you qualify for, so that you can maximize all those things that, you sacrifice your time, your energy for, and that you earn. You ultimately earn them. Nothing was given. You earn those things. And those are programs, those are resources that you have available to you. And so I give you all of that background information so that you understand, like, what is the purpose of this now. Let's fast forward to present day. Today, I just really felt moved that I really want to talk to the community about and give a no nonsense step by step guide about how to take advantage of all these different programs that we have. Whether you're more interested on the financial side of things, like, certain benefits that are available for veteran entrepreneurs, people who want to bid on government contracts. Are you interested in the schooling aspects? What certification programs you can get? Are there different veteran boot camps? There's also veteran hiring initiatives for a lot of veterans to get into technology, because government jobs need to fulfill with people who have security clearances. And so I bring you this platform because I wanted to bring relevant information and step-by-step guides to the community about how to maximize the benefits and the resources that you've earned, what to look forward in the future, and just how to bridge that gap, because there's a lot of veterans who really just don't take advantage of the things they earned. And I don't think that's because they're lazy. I don't think that's because they're dumb. I just think it's literally they don't have the knowledge about it. Like, when you are transitioning out and when you're active duty, when you first begin your career, you begin your career with a lot of questions, right? And some things are, you get a lot of briefings about, a lot of knowledge. But what I noticed in my time in the military is they don't always talk about the benefits, right? Like the things that you can take advantage of, right? Like, I don't know about other branches. Like the Air Force does a great job of telling you about like schooling, certification programs, getting a lot of information about those programs to you. But other branches don't do as good of a job as like how you can extract value from it, right? Like, because when you're doing your time in the military, they're going to get that value from you, right? You're showing up, you're doing your job, you're standing your duty, you're standing your post, you're doing your watch, you're doing what you're supposed to do. They're extracting that value every day, but a lot of people don't know how to actually get value from their time in service. And so they either leave with a lot of questions, not a lot of things taken from it, and now they're kind of trying to scramble to, now take advantage of the veteran um benefits that they have, but they never really even knew how to take advantage of it when they were active duty, because really that journey kind of starts there, right? Knowing what resources you have, knowing what benefits you have even as an active duty service member, and then knowing what you now have as a veteran. And so I feel like a lot of people don't really necessarily know, right? They know about the more common ones, they may not utilize them. And so there's a lot of things that I feel like get left on the table that shouldn't, because at the end of the day, like I said, you earned all of these things. Like, let's maximize these. Let's maximize these opportunities to enhance the quality of our life. Let's take advantage of different things that we wouldn't have been privy to had we not served, but like you did. So let's take advantage of all these things for for ourselves, but for our families. And so that's what I really wanted to bring to the forefront, because there are so many programs, whether it's state, whether it's at the national level, that we qualify for. And I feel like there's a lot of value that people never even tap into. They don't use. And I think a lot of it, like I said before, is just them not knowing, but they don't really have that guide. And there's also, sometimes it can be just a sheer, like, there's so much information, right? Like, you go to TAPS and you sit in TAPS for a week and you learn a lot of great things in TAPS. TAPS is a phenomenal tool, but you may walk out of there and you may forget just as many things as you learned, because being a veteran is a lifelong experience, right? And so maybe when you were in TAPS, you took one aspect of it really well and you applied it, but then you forgot six of the other days that could have been very relevant and important to you, in your transition. And like, oh man, I forgot about this one program that'll pay for tech certifications, and I'm looking to get into IT. There's plenty of things out there, and I really wanted to bring that to the forefront for the community. So that's what the Heroes Playbook is all about. This wraps up our first episode. I really appreciate it if you made it to the all the last minutes of this first episode, and I hope you give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe. Expect plenty of content from us. Plan on dropping 2 episodes a week. Go ahead and share this with somebody. Share this with somebody more junior than you if you're active duty. Spread the message, and we're gonna spread a lot of good word on here. And I can't wait to kick things off and drop more content and bring more value in the space. All right, we're out.